We got we got some news. We have ourselves some news. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. We're gonna keep it funky. I'm gonna try and keep things interesting because I'm not gonna hold you. It's actually not really a little news. This is a lot of news. This is probably the most news I've ever had for a single news stream, which is cool, which is fun because it's all pretty cool. I've actually taken the liberty to actually read some of it before I went ahead and went live here. So, you know the vibes. We are going to get into some stuff about Maryland, some local news, some world news, a little bit of world news, some politics, and some memes, some lulls, some fun stuff. Tried to round it out. Tried to make it so it's not all completely fucking depressing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and move the funny stuff or the cool stuff last. Fun stuff is going last. So I won't leave you hella depressed when I start gaming. Um, Xavier, thank you for the like. I saw Jarcrete liked it, but I don't know why that notification didn't pop up. I appreciate your like too, whatever react you did. That's the one thing that's goofy is it only tells me when people like, it doesn't tell me when people react. But without further ado, let us get into some news. I want to talk about climate change. Because I feel like that's pretty important. Some really fucking bad things are happening. So Canada is a warning. More and more, the world will soon be too hot for humans. What's up, Jenna? I appreciate you coming through. I didn't read your last message. I didn't have time to before I went live, but I'll read it as soon as I end the stream, or as soon as I get to the gaming portion. Sorry, that light was a little crazy. It's making me a little... Yikes. Okay, cool. All right, my lighting was a little wild. All right. The climate crisis means that summer is a time of increasingly dangerous heat. This week in the Pacific Northwest, temperature records are not just being broken, they are being obliterated. Temperatures reached a shocking 47.9 degrees Celsius in British Columbia. I have to Google really quick to see what that is in freedom units. Hold on. So that's 118 degrees and some change in Fahrenheit. 47.9 degrees Celsius, that's 100. Here, I'll show you. That is 118.22 degrees Fahrenheit. Almost 120 degrees in the fucking shade. Yeah, but there's no such thing as climate change. Ridiculous. Amid temperatures more typically found in the Sahara Desert, dozens have died of heat stress, with roads buckling and power cables melting. Another heat wave earlier in June saw 5 Middle East countries top 50 degrees Celsius. So that's way above 122 degrees. Thanks for the host, Fade Runner. The extreme heat reached Pakistan, where 20 children in one class were reported to have fallen unconscious and needed hospital treatment for heat stress. Thankfully, they all survived. And that's crazy because I can only imagine. I've only passed out from heat one time. And it was actually in school when I went to Cardinal Gibbons. We were on the third floor. There's no AC in the whole fucking building. And I remember just wanting to be on the ground because I thought that the ground would be colder for some reason. And then the next thing I knew, I was like waking up and my teacher was asking me to like get back in my seat. And that was crazy too. Is the teacher's response to that was to ask me to get back into my seat. Like not to send me to the nurse, not to like maybe call 911 or something. Just be like, yo, you're disrupting my class. Anyway. Additional warming from greenhouse gas emissions means that such extreme heat waves are more likely, and scientists can now calculate the increase in their probability. For example, the 2019 European heat wave that killed 2,500 people was 5 times more likely than it would have been without global warming. So that's nuts. And so when I talk about that, I also wanted to let you guys know about something called what's up, Jerson? So there's this thing called wet bulb syndrome, or excuse me, not syndrome, but wet bulb conditions, which sounds crazy. Thank you for the like, Jelani. It sounds crazy, but it's actually very, very serious. I'm not even going to lead into this. I'm just going to show you all. This is from Motherboard. Scientists studying temperature at which humans spontaneously die with increasing urgency. Wet bulb conditions are when heat and humidity can cause otherwise healthy humans to overheat and die. They're happening more often than ever. Last week's historic heat wave saw portions of the Northwest breaking all-time temperature records and gearing up for wildfire risk. The temperatures are now being attributed to an excess of 100 deaths across the region as it gears up for another week of extreme highs. And it's at this point I would like to remind everyone that this is the motherfucking apocalypse. This is it, ladies and gents. All that shit you saw in the movies, this is happening right fucking now. You have people dying from a global pandemic. You have people dying from heat because the climate has been so utterly fucked over the last, 3 or 4 decades, right? Well, longer than that, but they've known about it for that long. The heat can feel apocalyptic. Wow, interesting. And scientists are increasingly studying the heat and humidity conditions at which some humans suddenly die, a phenomenon that is becoming increasingly common as a result of extreme weather driven by climate change. This is perhaps best illustrated in a study published last year in Science Advances, alarmingly titled "The Emergence of Heat and Humidity Too Severe for Human Tolerance." Originally, conditions like this weren't expected until the mid-21st century, according to climate models, but they're actually already here. In that study, Radley Horton, Lamont Research Professor at Columbia University's Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory, and co-authors surveyed weather station data from across the world, collected between 1979 and 2017, and found over 7,000 instances of so-called wet bulb conditions, which can lead to human deaths. Wet bulb temperature is the point at which humidity and heat hit a point where evaporation due to sweat no longer works to cool a person. Most of these wet bulb conditions were concentrated in South Asia, the coastal Middle East, and Southwest North America. Areas denoted in red and orange on a map Horton and his colleagues created below. Let's take a look at the map really quick. Where the fuck is it? Okay. Anyway. The conditions aren't actually that hard to imagine. Wet bulb conditions occur when relative humidity is above 95% and temperatures are at least 88 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the study. So only 88 degrees. Yeah, I got jebaited right there. I got seriously jebaited. 88 degrees. 88 degrees was normal. 88 degrees was the summer that I remember. Because I posted a stats the other day that this can't be the same heat that I was bunny hopping picnic tables in 15, 20 years ago. This has to be something different. And it is. 88 degrees was the heat that I know. That's the summer heat that I know. The hottest day on record in a year like 2003 was like 98 degrees. Something crazy like that, right? You'd like to point out that the rich definitely know all this and that's why they're trying to go to space? Yeah, absolutely. It should be fairly obvious to anyone who has more than 2 functioning brain cells that the rich are planning on going into bunkers underground or going out in space somewhere. They will not be with your dehydrated, dry, salty, overcooked ass and your concrete fucking oven jungle. The human body, Horton's study found, is essentially unable to withstand wet bulb conditions at all once temperatures hit 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Under these conditions, it's possible for otherwise healthy people to die. Even if they're in perfect health, even if they're sitting in the shade, even if they're wearing clothes that make it easy in principle to sweat, even if they have an endless supply of water. Horton said. If there's enough moisture in the air, it's thermodynamically impossible to prevent the body from overheating. So what he's saying is it does not fucking matter. You could be a Clydesdale fucking horse in terms of health. You could be a fucking marathon runner in the shade wearing a fucking Speedo with 27 gallons of water. Your ass is going to fry, right? That's what he's saying. That's what's going down. Horton's research was supported by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Meaning, hold on a second, I gotta stop because you mentioned Titan AE, and I love you so much, Algal, my pal. I just want to give you the biggest hug and smooch on the forehead and not on the lips because it's COVID. Because you know what Titan AE is, and I love you so much. But this makes you real nervous to be out there driving every day? Oh yeah, I would be very careful if I were you, friend. Keep. I don't even know what to tell you, honestly, because there's really nothing that you could do short of just being out of the heat. Maybe get a camel pack and freeze it. That's what I'm planning on doing to keep from overheating on the dock, on the forklift. Because I know it's only going to get hotter. We're at the tip of the iceberg. The dog days come and it's going to be insanely hot. But I'm going to get a camelback and freeze that. And hopefully at least by the middle of my shift or towards the end of the shift is when it'll be completely melted. And there'll maybe be a little bit of ice still floating around in there for me to have on my body to keep me cool. But I also have the option to, if it really gets that bad, I can walk into an air conditioned room at any time. But still, Horton's research was supported by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, meaning that the U.S. government has been actively studying the weather conditions at which otherwise healthy humans spontaneously die. Some locations have already reported combined heat and humidity extremes above human survivability limit, a NOAA press release stated. NOAA is also supporting a few projects that further study wet bulb conditions. So the government knows about this and has been tracking it. That's the crazy thing about this. I'm flabbergasted. I really have nothing to say about this. This is so incredibly insane to me. Like I thought that I had a feeling that I was going to live through the fucking apocalypse when I was a kid, but I thought that that was just like religious fervor. You know what I mean? I thought that was a byproduct of me being a fucking like adolescent and teenage Jesus freak, and that I was going to eventually one day see the rapture, just like most batshit insane Christians think. I had no idea I was going to actually live through the fucking epidemic, fucking pandemic, and climate apocalypse, right? Because this shit is apocalyptic, make no mistakes about it. Because this exists completely aside from the conversation that we still will need to have about climate refugees, people moving from areas to other areas because the environment that they lived in before is literally uninhabitable by humans, where the place that they live has become like desert conditions, or the soil is depleted, or the water table is evaporated, crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? And that doesn't even also count environmental racism, which I'll get to in a second, because I do have a story on that. Compliments of Jenna. Shouts out to Jenna again for breaking me off with the lit news stories before a stream. Sweating is a necessary function for coping with hot days. Once on the surface of the skin, sweat droplets can get hot enough that they turn into a gas and dissolve, eliminating heat and keeping the body's internal temperature down. The problem is, the atmosphere's ability to take up moisture is finite. Water can only transform into a gaseous state if the air surrounding the body is dry enough to accept it. In overly humid conditions, sweat is less likely to evaporate into the atmosphere than in dry conditions, Horton said. Dry heat, like that of the desert, is typically more comfortable than humid heat for this reason. Humidity sensors, yeah, barometers, like you probably would want to keep a barometer on you if you are anyone, because you can spot, as I already stated, which is fucking insane to me. It doesn't matter what type of person you are. If these conditions exist in the environment where you are, you can spontaneously die, as in randomly, without warning, for no fucking reason, just drop over. You're on a t-shirt now. 5 seconds ago, you thought life was sweet. You thought you were going to do this and that and the third, and now you are a piece of fucking merchandise. That's what this is saying. You're going on a t-shirt. You're going on you're going to be like Ashli Babbit out here. Oh my goodness. We need a differential between the human body and the environment, and if the air is already holding as much moisture as it can, you don't have that gradient, Horton said. Your body's not going to be able to get the atmosphere to take the moisture from it. So on humid days, the water our bodies emit just stays there, getting hotter and hotter without ever evaporating into a gas. Think of what happens in a steam room when your body collects sweat instead of eliminating it until the heat becomes so overwhelming that you need to step out. Yep. You used to live in Phoenix and this was a real issue? Oh, I'm sure. Out in Arizona, out in the fucking desert? Yeah, I'm sure. That shit's nuts. People will walk out in their driveways to get the newspaper and die. That's the scariest shit I could ever possibly think of. Like any like any horror movie that you could think of, like that's fucking scary, dude. Like fucking like Ghosts of Mars, any type of shit like that where no warning, no visible fucking alert, like nothing to warn you to the fact that you're about to be on a fucking t-shirt, my dude, and you just walk out to get the fucking newspaper, and now suddenly you're some merchandise. And yes, go Suns. I fuck with the Suns. I liked them when Charles Barkley was on the team. I had a fresh ass pair of Barkleys when I was a kid. But anyway, let me not get distracted. A growing number of other regions are nearing this point. The southeast US, the Gulf of Mexico, and northern Australia, all denoted by green on the map, are seeing higher daily maximum wet bulb temperatures. Everyone was telling you drink water. Well, this is saying it doesn't even matter. Like there's no amount of water that you could drink because your body is literally just not able to get rid of the heat. Like the point of drinking water is to make sure that you have enough water in your system so that when you sweat and the sweat evaporates, you won't become dehydrated. But in wet bulb conditions, you can sweat all you want and it's not going to cool your body down because the humidity in the air is too high for your sweat to evaporate in the air. The air is already maximally impregnated with moisture. You get what I'm saying? So you're just gonna die hydrated. You're gonna be a wet motherfucker when you die. You're gonna be on that t-shirt wet, dripping. You're gonna be that's gonna be the real drip when you're fucking soaking wet on the front of that t-shirt. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I gotta chill. I gotta chill because this is really not funny. This is kind of really fucking scary. Maximally impregnated with water. Yeah, I'd be wilding sometimes. Yeah, sweating doesn't cool you down. It's the evaporation that cools your body. Facts. Yeah. Uh, let's see. Where was I? Okay. Horton believes that in the short term, reducing exposure to wet bulb temperature will be a matter of behavioral adaptation, simply avoiding these conditions by taking respite and air conditioning, for example, which is, I have that option. Not many people do. A few of my bandmates, my bandmate, shout out to Ben Amp, shout out to Noisem. He was just talking today about having to work out in the hot sun. And I was telling him, my dog, get a fucking Camelback, freeze that shit and keep it on you because this is wind up on a t-shirt weather. This is what that is. This is, I'm going to be speaking at your fucking funeral weather. Ready to be cooked for this 15 an hour? Oh yeah, that's me. That's I'm in the game 15 deep out there sweating, dripping, absolutely dripping. Like I said, it's always an option for me to step off the dock and get a little bit of air conditioning, but I have to work on the dock in the heat, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's kind of indoors because it's a dock, you know what I mean? I'm not completely exposed to the elements, but it still gets hot and humid as a motherfucker in there. So, and here it is. But as severe heat straddles the country and energy grids in Texas, New York, and beyond show signs of buckling under the pressure of extreme use, the reliability of AC becomes increasingly uncertain, which is fucking scary. Access to AC is also not guaranteed, Horton notes. Migrant and farm laborers and those living in energy poverty will have a hard time withstanding these conditions by cooling off indoors, he says. Which we all know, but nobody gives a fuck about poor people. Fuck them, right? As long as they're doing the work that puts the food on my table and these devices that I don't fucking need in my hands, then they're cool, but fuck them at any other time, right? Matthew Lewis, director of communications at housing advocacy group California YIMBY, noted in a recent Twitter thread that wet bulb temperatures could soon be a factor at the helm of climate migration. And I was just saying that earlier. Many of the places humans currently live on the planet are on their way to being functionally uninhabitable by humans, he said. They will have to move. Lewis urges states and municipalities to prepare for this eventuality. Depose the NIMBYs in your city government. Defeat the car stands who deny that all this is happening, Lewis wrote. He also urges weather broadcasts to include wet bulb indices in temperature announcements as a matter of public service, the way some do air quality and humidity metrics. And I was going to say that. I was going to say this, but this article got a chance to say it before I did. Horton says feels like measurements are the closest many forecasts come to this, but units aren't standardized across weather stations, and this can create confusion. So yeah, if there's wet bulb conditions, if it's walk outside, get put on a t-shirt weather, the news should probably be letting you know this. There should probably even be emergency broadcasts to let people know this kind of shit, right? The very fact that there isn't one standard that everyone uses and that most people could explain exactly what these mean suggests that we could do more, he said. So there's that. That's fucking scary. That's kind of really fucking scary. And while we are on the topic of the motherfucking apocalypse, let's get some news from the state that I'm in about our current global pandemic situation. Them ocean containers, though, and them trailers, worse than outside easily. Facts. Fucking facts. That one trailer I went on when I had to I forget what I had to go on that trailer for. I had to get something up out of there. And as soon as I crossed that tail, yo, that heat duffed me in my shit like Andy No. That heat fucking Mike Tyson to me dead in my shit to the point where my whole body was instantly soaked in sweat. I drink probably 5 or 6 water bottles on the dock daily to the point where if I don't drink water, I'll stop sweating. And that's when I know, fuck, I'm getting dehydrated and I'll start getting headaches and shit. Like, it's fucked. They've really fucked us in terms of how fucked this climate is. You hate being crispy? I feel that, Generator. That's my one saving grace is that my melanin is popping, so I don't have to worry about sunburn as much. I have actually never in my life had a sunburn, knock on wood. I'm sure that I'll get a Godsmack and I'll get the worst sunburn anyone's ever had in their fucking life before the summers end, just because I keep talking about how I've never had a sunburn, but, you take the good with the bad. And why the hell isn't it standardized? Oh, because America sucks and they don't give a fuck whether you live or die as long as you get to work. That's pretty much how that works. So last month, 130 people died of COVID-19 in Maryland. None of them were vaccinated, according to Maryland Governor Larry Hogan. All you do is get sunburned, yikes. In addition, unvaccinated people made up 95% of new COVID-19 cases in the state and 93% of new COVID hospitalizations, Hogan said at a news conference Wednesday. Maybe one day there'll be a general strike. Honestly, I thought I was losing hope for it, but now I kind of believe that might happen. Last year, with how all that, so the Democratic Party is the fucking graveyard of social movements, right? In the aftermath of the George Floyd murder, we had so much impetus from the general population to go out in the streets and march for what's right. And it was like as soon as we got some Democrats in the presidency and into some positions of higher power, all that goodwill immediately faded. All that momentum was sapped and diverted directly into the corporate Democratic machine, right? So I lost hope for a minute. I genuinely believe that they were just, especially since they were just sending people back to work through a global pandemic where people were over 500,000 dead, right? And people are literally protesting government to be sent back to work so they could go to work, get COVID, and give their whole family COVID and die. I had completely lost hope. I thought America was just going to be one of those countries where we descend directly into like neo-feudalism And it's 150 years before you have anything remotely resembling what we had back in the Haymarket days or anything like that, or the Blair Mountain days, right? Just because America is that fucking propagandized and hoggish and stupid. But now, with people starting to be upset about not being able to work from home, being upset about how low their pay is compared to the amount of risk that they've had to take over the last few months, I'm starting to have my hope restored a little bit. The Democrats are backpedaling on defunding the police. I mean, we always knew that they were going to do that, though. Because first of all, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, that's been part of their platform since day one. No matter what debate between them and the Republican Party you were looking at, that was one of their ways that they capitulated to the right wing, right? That was one of their ways that they see. Democrats still have this crazy childish ass idea that there are independents in the United States of America, that there are people who decide who they're going to vote for based on debates and based on like party platforms and stuff like that, right? So they went out of their way to coddle and coo and don't worry. Not only are we not going to defund the police, we're going to give more money to the police than the Republicans. So please vote for us. And, you know, us as leftists, what fucking choice do we have other than to just not vote, right? I sure as fuck don't vote. It's a waste of my fucking time. But, anyone that thought Kamala would back defunding police, you have America's top cop, and you think that she's going to, even for a split second, entertain the idea of even reducing the funding to the police departments in America? You are smoking dicks. You're smoking dicks. You're smoking some Ashli Babbit pack, because that shit has you fucked up. So, let me continue with this, because I'm going to talk about all that stuff, but let me at least read this article first, and we can get into all the rest of the shit, especially when I start gaming, because, you know, that's when I start memeing. But, the connection between vaccination status and COVID-19 is not specific to Maryland and is not limited to last month, medical experts have said. Dr. Peter Hotez, dean of the National School of Tropical Medicine at the Baylor College of Medicine, said Maryland's data is a trend that will be seen in states across the country. No question that almost all the deaths and hospitalizations will be in unvaccinated individuals, and therefore we should expect most of severe illnesses, hospitalizations, and deaths will occur predominantly in areas of low vaccination and high delta, such as in the South and Mountain West, he said. So far, it's confirming what we saw with Phase 3 clinical trials, that all of the vaccines authorized for emergency use give extra protection against hospitalizations and deaths, so this has been confirmed now in very practical settings over the last year, Hotez said. It's a reminder that you have every reason to get vaccinated. And I want to say two things. Number one is, as I've repeatedly said on this channel, at this point, if you have the ability to get vaccinated and you simply choose not to, not only are you a complete fucking moron, you're also a terrible person, because it should be demonstrated to you the fact that, first of all, the first wave of vaccines all went to the medical professionals themselves, right? So even if you were just waiting to see what happened to other people, you've had almost 6 months to do that. Furthermore, if you were on some conspiracy theory shit, your Tuskegee study shit, whatever, where you think that these vaccines are just ways to enact more eugenics against black and brown population, if that were the fucking case, they would have airdropped that shit on Africa and India and the Middle East and all that shit day one. And literally, we have the opposite problem. Africa is getting clapped by fucking COVID. India is getting clapped by fucking COVID, right? So that's strike two. And, I should also say, because I said it earlier on my personal page, let me fucking go back to it so I can just read it, because I don't feel like trying to pull this shit from memory. So, friendly reminder that less than half of the country is fully vaccinated. It's something like 47.95%. 99% of COVID deaths are unvaccinated people. The Delta variant accounts for more than a quarter of new infections. So what he's talking about here with Delta, that's more than a quarter of the people who have COVID. So if you run into someone that has COVID and you catch it, there's a 1 in 4 chance that you're going to catch the Delta variant, right? So a lot of you guys are planning trips and shows and tours and all this good stuff, and you need to be getting ready for a second shutdown, because that's probably what's going to happen. Because what's going to end up happening is There's going to be a variant that is resistant to the vaccine. And then we're all going to be fucked because a select few dumbass people decided they wanted to be stubborn and not get a vaccine that is really for their own benefit at the end of the day. They were so fucking stupid that they didn't even care about their own life. A former cop just won New York City's mayor Democratic primary. That sucks. I thought I thought a Democratic Socialist won. Fuck. There was a Democratic Socialist mayor that I thought won. I could have been wrong. But bro, there is no if you have the ability. You definitely have the ability, LOL. There's literally no excuse to not get it at this point. If you aren't vaxxed by now, you're actively choosing not to get it. Well, I say that because there's immunocompromised people, right? There's people with health complications that they may not be immediately able to get the vaccine. There's people, there's like infants and children and that type of thing where they straight up might not be physically able to get the vaccine because they don't know how it's going to affect their system, right? But the fucked up thing is those types of people are people who are inside most of the time anyway, right? So Dr. Paul Sachs, an infectious disease doctor at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, similarly highlighted the virulent data as evidence of the continued effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccines. We're finding that 99% of the people with severe disease are unvaccinated, so the vaccines are preventing severe disease even from Delta, he told CNN on Wednesday. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, gave similar numbers during a White House briefing last week. In fact, more than 99% of the U.S. COVID-19 deaths in June were among unvaccinated people. In addition, early data suggests that over the last 6 months, nearly all COVID-19 deaths in a number of states have been in unvaccinated people, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said last week during a White House briefing. Did I already read that? I already read that. I don't know why I read that. Wait, I didn't already read that. It's just twice in this. I should be a writer because this is ridiculous. Preliminary data from a collection of states over the last 6 months suggest 99.5% of deaths from COVID-19 in these states have occurred in unvaccinated people, Walensky said. She did not specify which states. That's 99.5% of deaths. That is almost all of the people who have died from COVID-19 now are people who were not vaccinated. Yeah, there is a different district that the Democratic Socialist won for mayor. I can't remember which district it was. The only reason I know is because I watched a Rational National thing on YouTube when I was on my way to work this morning. But yeah, you should probably get vaccinated. If you don't, you're a fucking buffoon. If you can't, then I'm sorry that the rest of the people who can and choose not to are fucking it up for you. So, related to that, the WHO is urging extreme caution against completely lifting public health measures. I've said this on stream, that lifting the mask mandate, so on and so forth, is fucking psychotic at this stage in the game, especially considering the fact that, like I said, less than half of the American population, at least, is vaccinated. The European region saw a 33% increase in COVID cases in the last week. Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck is happening, dude? The idea that everyone is protected and it's kumbaya and everything is back to normal, I think right now is a very dangerous assumption anywhere in the world, Ryan said. What the fuck is happening, dude? Like, I'm just like, I'm astounded by how it's absolutely mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing to me. It's not as crazy in my line of work, given that I handle freight and, that mail has to get there, rain, hail, sleet, snow. You know what I mean? It's literally our job to function through the motherfucking apocalypse, right? But the fact that there's fucking computer programmers and people who work in the service industry, people who work retail, all that kind of shit, people who have to write emails, it's literally the motherfucking apocalypse. It's hot enough to where you walk outside and die. That's it. It's get put on a motherfucking t-shirt weather. right? There's a fucking global pandemic that's just clapping over 500,000, probably 750,000 people at this point in the country. And we're just acting like shit's just back to normal. Like, yep, punch the clock, go back to work. We're not working from home anymore. Everything's back to normal. Like, what the fuck, man? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because this shit is fucking insane. And I have no idea why we're the only people that think that this shit is this crazy. So let's talk about how the police fucking suck. Yo, what up, Mark Sankis? Your company went 100% remote for good? That's crucial. That's fucking crucial. Let me also talk about how much the police suck. That's what I was going to get into because you know how much I love to talk about that on this channel. Let's watch this because this is about uncle of Darnella Frazier, teen who filmed George Floyd's murder, is killed in a crash with Minneapolis police. So let's check this out because this is kind of crazy.
I look at my dad. I look at my brothers. I look at my cousins, my uncles, because they are all black. I have a black father. I have a black brother. I have black friends. And I look at that and I look at how that could have been one of them. It's been nights. I stayed up apologizing and apologizing to George Floyd for not doing more and not physically interacting and not saving his life.
Damn, that's fucked up. So that wasn't related to this story, but we can, yeah, this shit's heartbreaking. Get the boy. I appreciate you, Mark. Yeah, the man who died after a car crash involving a Minneapolis police squad car Tuesday was identified as the uncle of Darnella Frazier, the teenager who filmed the murder of George Floyd. Police spokesman John Elder said officers were chasing a robbery suspect early Tuesday when a squad car collided with a vehicle at an intersection. The driver of the vehicle died after being taken to a hospital, Elder said. The police literally just do what the fuck ever. They just do whatever, especially, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in Minneapolis, but the police out there have zero fucking chill. I thought BPD was bad. I thought the Baltimore Police Department was pretty fucking bad. They are literally out there just doing what the fuck ever. At least when the gun trace task force got found out, when they were doing shit like this, there was a huge fucking scandal. They all went to jail. You know what I'm saying? The police out there are just doing whatever. This shit is nuts. Father of 5. Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. So the nuttiest part about this, yo. The nuttiest part about this. Oh my goodness. And believe me, this is not an endorsement of the fucking police state or the global fucking panopticon that we live in at all. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted when I say this. But this is a stolen vehicle. This is not a hostage situation. This is not anything pressing like that. You're chasing someone in a vehicle that you believe to be stolen. I am 1000% absolutely fucking positive that you could catch this person, that you could retrieve this vehicle without getting into high-speed chase with them and ending up fucking rolling up and smoking a father of 5 because you have a fucking adrenaline rush chasing someone through fucking midday traffic and blasting through fucking intersections, right? Unbelievable. I don't get it, dude. I genuinely don't get it. The fact that police can and do just do what the fuck ever with impunity, right? That no matter what, there's going to be some fucking hog on the internet somewhere. Like, yep, back the blue, brother. Back the blue. Police lives matter. Fucking, I can't believe they defunded the police. Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, and they have the plates. Like, all the fucking intersections I'm sure this motherfucker blasted through, on top of all the cameras that I'm sure are in that area at all fucking times, they had that dude's plates. They had the plates. There's no fucking way they didn't. But Xavier said they're not supposed to chase no one to residential neighborhoods in Minneapolis because of a situation like this. You live on the South Minneapolis right now. Yeah, dog. The police are not supposed to do that any fucking where, bro. Like, Baltimore PD is not supposed to do that shit either. The police are not supposed to chase you. The police are not supposed to get in high-speed chases. Point blank, period. Full stop. That is against the fucking protocol. And yet, like I said, you will have these fucking hogs that'll be on fucking like Law Enforcement Today's page on Facebook talking about how, oh, he fucking, that's his fault for getting in the way of a high-speed chase while the police were going full fucking Dukes of Hazzard in midday traffic. Like, this shit is unbelievable, dude. They're not supposed to pursue high-speed chase in residential neighborhoods in Minneapolis. I live over South Minneapolis right now. I've been here for over 10 years. That's their protocol. Yeah, that's the protocol everywhere. Here in Baltimore, if you're not supposed to chase people on motorcycles for obvious fucking reasons, you're just not supposed to do high-speed chases because shit like this happens where you fucking plow through someone's car at like 100 miles per hour and vaporize their shit. And now you got to explain to their family why their father's not coming home because you wanted to chase a stolen car through an intersection in midday traffic. Unfucking real, dude. Unfucking real. But let's get into a little bit of global news. Just a little bit of global news here. So, the U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan is complete for all intents and purposes. The U.S. currently has roughly 600 troops in Afghanistan, most of whom are Marine Corps and Army personnel providing security at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. The U.S. military's withdrawal from Afghanistan is essentially complete, despite President Joe Biden's comments last week that American troops will leave by late August, according to U.S. officials. And I should say that 9/11 happened in 2001. So there are people that are fighting. This war is older than some of the people that are fighting in it. That's absolutely fucking mind-blowing to me. Property is more important than lives as the cops? Absolutely. The police exist for two reasons, right? They exist to protect property, they exist to protect capital, and they exist to enforce class hegemony. Yeah, Fade Runner. Haiti's actually up next in my global news. So, let me see. Besides the security troops, the only U.S. military personnel left to withdraw by the September 11th deadline Biden set in May are General Scott Miller, the commander of U.S. Forces Afghanistan, and a handful of staff, the two officials said. U.S. Central Command announced on Tuesday that the withdrawal was 90% complete, and the last American troops on Friday left Bagram Air Base, the focal point of the U.S. war effort for the last 20 years. 20 years! Been at war for 20 fucking years. Insane. And I'm sure that fucking Raytheon and Halliburton and all of them made a nice bag off of that. They made a bag off them body bags because there's a lot of people out that I'm sure that have family members and so on that went out to Afghanistan, went out to Iraq, went out whatever and got fucking clapped so that some stonks can go up. America's fucked, and it's really baffling to me how people don't see it. But up next in the global news, Haiti's police chief says that they've got the 4 suspected killers of the president slain and 2 have been arrested. So they move pretty quick, which is kind of fucking scary. So Haiti's police chief says 4 suspected killers of President Jovenel Moise have been fatally shot. I'm sure I butchered that, but I'm going to keep going. Have been fatally shot by police, and 2 others arrested in an apparent hostage-taking situation. Leon Charles said late Wednesday that 3 police officers held hostage were freed. So they're out there taking police hostage. Haiti, I don't know what they do over there in Haiti, but they get busy in Haiti. That shit's nuts. The killing of Moise early Wednesday and the wounding of his wife was sure to bring more chaos to the unstable Caribbean country already beset by gang violence, soaring inflation, and protests by opposition supporters who accused Moise of increasing authoritarianism. Interim Prime Minister Claude Joseph said the police and military were in control of security. The poorest country in the Americas, which is not a mistake, that's on purpose. I just had to throw that out there. Haiti has a history of dictatorship and political upheaval. The streets of Port-au-Prince were empty and quiet. This is a breaking news update. The previous AP story is below. A squad of gunmen assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moise and wounded his wife in an overnight raid on their home Wednesday, inflicting more chaos on the Caribbean country that was already enduring gang violence, soaring inflation, and protests of his increasingly authoritarian rule. So they fucking handled that shit. They said, oh, you want to be a dictator? Guess what? Nah, not today. Not today, friend. You going on a fucking t-shirt. You're getting rolled up and smoked. You're getting put in the pack. Oh my God. In an interview with the Associated Press, Joseph called for an international investigation into the assassination, said that elections scheduled for later this year should be held, and pledged to work with Moise's allies and opponents alike. We need every single one to move the country forward, Joseph said. He alluded to enemies of the president, describing him as a man of courage who had opposed some oligarchs in the country, and we believe those things are not without consequences. Despite Joseph's assurances that order would prevail, there was confusion about who should take control and widespread anxiety among Haitians. Authorities declared a state of siege in the country and closed the international airport. Fucking yikes. Haiti has asked the U.S. government for assistance with the investigation, he said, adding that the assassins could have escaped over the land border to the Dominican Republic or by sea. The Dominican Republic said it was closing the border and reinforcing security in the area, describing the frontier as completely calm, of course. Oh, man. That shit is fucking nuts, too. So, going to bring it back a little bit to some American news, and then we're going to get into some lulls and some cool stuff, because this has been kind of a heavy news section. So, on the subject of the military, a judge finds the U.S. 60% responsible for the 2017 Texas church mass shooting. A federal judge found the U.S. government was 60% responsible for a 2017 mass shooting in which a former Air Force airman used firearms he should not have been allowed to purchase to kill 26 people at a rural Texas church. In a decision released on Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Xavier Rodriguez, wow, I can't believe I did that. Judge Xavier Rodriguez said the Air Force did not use reasonable care when it failed to enter Devin Patrick Kelly's plea to domestic violence charges in a database used for background checks for those buying firearms. Rodriguez said the government bore significant responsibility for harm to victims of the November 5, 2017 massacre at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, 31 miles east of San Antonio. 22 people were also injured when Kelly, dressed in black and wearing a skull mask, opened fire at a Sunday service. Kelly, 26, died of a self-inflicted gunshot to the head after crashing his vehicle into a ditch following a chase, officials said. Victims and their families sued the government for its alleged negligence in letting Kelly buy weapons despite his admission in a 2012 court-martial to striking his former wife and infant stepson. What a piece of shit, dude. What a piece of shit. I don't even want to finish that shit. Just what a fucking scumbag. Just what a scumbag. So, this next piece of news, that's the last kind of heavy piece of news. We're going to talk about environmental racism because people are dumb and like, how can the environment be racist? You just an SJW lib. And it's like, dog, it's not that the environment is racist. It's that you are fucking up the environment in a way that disproportionately affects people of a specific race. Like when you fucking do oil spills and that kind of shit, it's not in the rich white suburbs, right? It's in very specific areas. So, once again, shout out to Jenna for sending me this story. Descendants of slaves say this proposed grain complex will destroy the community. Joey Banner, 42, stands at the edge of her hometown of Wallace, Louisiana, looking over a field of sugarcane, the crop that her enslaved ancestors cut from dawn to dusk, that is now the planned site of a major industrial complex. Across the grassy river levee, the swift waters of the Mississippi bear cargo toward distant ports, as the river has done for generations. This property is where the proposed grain elevator site would be set up right next to us, she says. As you can see, we would be living in the middle of this facility, which is, what did I just say? A bitter fight has broken out between the powerful backers of this major new grain terminal on the Mississippi River in South Louisiana and the historic black community that has been here on the fence line for 150 years. Charges of environmental racism are coming from her and fellow descendants of enslaved people who believe the silo complex is an existential threat to the community of Wallace. On this sunny Juneteenth, a couple dozen folks, mostly Banner's extended family, sit under a 300-year-old oak tree on the grounds of the Fee Follet Cafe in Wallace. They eat roast beef sandwiches and peach cobbler, drink whiskey and daiquiris, and enjoy the laid-back rural life on this lazy bend of the mighty river. But they fear change is coming. I have grown up here my whole life, says Banner, the community activist leading the fight against the grain terminal. We don't want this way of life to be ruined. She and her twin sister, Jo Banner, are co-owners of the cafe. Banner and the rest of the predominantly African-American unincorporated town of 1200 are alarmed at the plans of Greenfield, Louisiana. The company plans to put in 54 grain silos to store 4.6 million bushels of corn, wheat, and soybeans. The grain would float down the Mississippi River from the Midwest on barges, get loaded onto cargo ships at a new Wallace terminal, and then be delivered around the globe. Supporters from the governor's office to the local parish council say the grain terminal will create jobs and expand international trade, but neighbors see a massive industrial installation with one structure standing as tall as the Statue of Liberty, operating 24/7 with constant truck and train traffic, machinery noise, and dust escaping when grain is loaded and unloaded. Some 200 industrial and petrochemical plants are located along the twisting river between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. This industrial corridor has been nicknamed Cancer Alley. Study after study has shown that poor black communities near toxic air pollution suffer greater rates of cancer in South Louisiana. Imagine that. People at the Juneteenth picnic say that their air is already foul and that a giant grain elevator next door is bound to make things worse. You got red dust, black dust, white dust. All these plants, they all got dust, says Lawrence Alexis, 93, in a thick Creole accent. He's a lifelong Wallace resident and former sugar refinery worker. That thing they want to put right there, I don't think it should be there, not close like that. The CEO says they engaged the community, and the residents said they were left in the dark because, of course. The proposed Greenfield, Louisiana terminal will help, not harm, the community by diversifying the tax base and creating 100 jobs, says CEO Adam Johnson, which is bullshit. We all know that it's bullshit, but that's the PR that he's rolling with, I guess. In a statement emailed to NPR, Johnson said the new state-of-the-art grain elevator will enable the efficient transport of agricultural goods from local farmers to consumers while significantly reducing environmental impacts. A company fact sheet says Greenfield, Louisiana will fully enclose conveyor systems, install dust collection devices, and minimize fugitive emissions during loading and unloading, which is all complete and total bullshit. We know this. It should be pretty fucking obvious that if they put that shit there, it's gonna fuck things up. But yeah, if you want to read more about that, you can. I'm getting a little tired. I kind of want a game, so I'm just gonna run through these last bits of news. So this is kind of funny. Apparently Kmart and Sears had Ashli Babbit American Patriot t-shirts that they were selling, which is fucking insane. They took the shirts down after backlash, but the fact that they were even up in the first place is absolutely ridiculous. Let's talk about Ashli Babbit because she was used as a martyr in one of Trump's speeches most recently. Last Thursday, Donald Trump announced a new theme with all his customary blunt force subtlety. Who shot Ashli Babbit? And I had to try really hard not to make a who shot Roger Rabbit joke, but he wrote on his official pseudo-presidential stationery. The pseudo-presidential is hilarious to me. Those 4 words were the entirety of the message. 2 days later, at his rally in Florida, he said more. Who shot Ashli Babbit? We all saw the hand. We saw the gun. You know, if that were on the other side, the person that did the shooting will be strung up and hung, okay? Now, they don't want to give the name. It's a terrible thing, right? Shot. Boom. And it's a terrible thing. And then, speaking Wednesday about his lawsuit challenging his social media ban, Trump returned to the subject again. Asked about the insurrection, he changed the subject to the terrible people on the other side who were not being charged and brought up Babbitt once again. The person that shot Ashli Babbit. Boom, right through the head, which is wrong. She was not shot in the head, but just boom. There was no reason for that. And why isn't that person being opened up, and why isn't that being studied? Babbitt's death, while tragic, I would say that it is not. I would actually say it's kind of funny, hilarious actually, occurred for a very good reason. The Air Force veteran who had been fully converted into the most dangerous and fantastical pro-Trump conspiracy theories had joined the aggressive vanguard of the January 6th insurrection. Babbitt died trying to squeeze through the smashed window of a barricaded door that led to the inner sanctum where members of Congress were hiding from the mob. Yeah, Trump really hitting the Lois Griffin, but that's been his move whole T. The border, and when it's not the border, it's fucking trans people. When it's not trans people, it's Antifa. You know what I mean? That's been his move this whole time. But yeah, that's some wild shit. Let's talk about. Oh man. Let's talk about your friend, my friend, the beloved and magnanimous Marjorie Taylor Meme, who proved that she learned absolutely nothing from her Holocaust Museum visit. Just 3 weeks after she visited the Holocaust Museum and contritely said she had finally learned at age 47 that there is nothing comparable to the genocide of 6 million Jewish people, Representative Marjorie Taylor Meme once again invoked Nazi Germany to complain about COVID-19 vaccination policy in the United States. Biden pushing a vaccine that is not FDA approved shows COVID is a political tool used to control people, Meme tweeted on Tuesday in response to a video of President Joe Biden urging a door-to-door vaccination campaign. People have a choice. They don't need your medical brown shirts. Oh my God. They don't need your medical brown shirts showing up at their door ordering vaccinations. You can't force people to be part of the human experiment. Holy shit, dude. Yo, what the fuck? Oh, I saw Tucker Carlson. What's he got to say? Oh, okay, never mind. I don't care about none of that. So yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the screen. I'm just going to, this last bit of news is going to be the last fun piece. The XFL is coming back. DC Defenders, let's go. The XFL is coming back in 2023. Hopefully DC Defenders are still the best team in the league because that's the only team that I really have to root for. I'm just going to read this really quick and we're going to play some Hunt. The XFL announced Wednesday will return in 2023 after opting against a formal partnership with the Canadian Football League. While our discussions with the CFL did not ultimately lead to a collaboration, the effort reinforced our belief and commitment to developing the XFL for international spring football, the XFL said in a statement according to Jai Noakes of XFL News Hub. So it's going to be international. That's interesting. The best team in XFL was the one PJ Walker was on. That's cap. That is cap. What team was he on? Hold on. Was that the battle? Hold on. Nah, the Houston Roughnecks. Okay, they were pretty good. They weren't bad. They were the only team I feel like that could have taken the DC Defenders. Let me see what their record was really quick. Because they might have actually beat DC. No, they didn't actually even play DC. They were number 1 in their division, though. So, yeah, that makes sense. They went 5-0 and DC went 3-2. Okay, so you might be right on that. Straight undefeated. Yeah, they were the best. Hold on, let me look at this really quick. Let me put this on stream. PJ Walker went to the NFL. Did he go to the NFL after the XFL? I thought he went from the XFL to the NFL. Or from the NFL to the XFL. So they were only 2 games away from playing DC too. Both. Oh, okay. Because I know Cardell Jones came from, and that's another reason why I fuck with DC Defenders, because Cardell Jones is from Ohio State. NFL to XFL to NFL, word. Sports, go team, yeah. I mean, I like sports. Sports is, it's interesting to me. It's more of a social event for me. I don't follow it super closely. I follow the XFL closely because it's the XFL. Why the fuck wouldn't you? But I'm not a huge sports fan, but I do enjoy sports. So, yep. With all that out of the way, let's play some Hunt. Jeez, what is happening with my lighting? There we go. Is this lighting weird too? Nah. I feel that, Fade Runner, and that's my feel. I used to feel the opposite. Like, why the fuck would you give a fuck about sports when there's so much shit in the world to care about? But the older I got, the more I was like, there's so much shit to care about. You want you want a little fucking diversion. You want a little distraction. It used to be music for me, and then I got on the other side of the curtain, and I got to see how the sausage gets made, and it really fucking burnt me out. So, being that I am not and probably will never be a professional athlete, it's much easier for me to enjoy that aspect of cultural diversion. Being a sports fan is a hobby, and people need hobbies. Facts. You enjoy hockey, but that was brainwashed from yeah. I actually see my parents didn't fuck with hockey, so I got into hockey mad later in life just from being around other people who were into hockey. Shout out to Pat Daniels. That was my homie that got me into hockey. Go Suns, yeah, I fuck with the Suns. That's another one of those. I'm a fucking Cavs fan. I used to be a Wizards fan, because I used to be a Bullets fan. My dad used to take me to Bullets games way back in the day. Then they became the Wizards, and yeah, Jordan Wizards was interesting for sure. But I like the Cavs because I'm from Ohio and I fuck with LeBron, and it was cool that he went back to get us a ring. Once you see behind the scenes that anything that lots of money is involved in, it's instantly ruined. That's facts. But the thing is, there's like not even a lot of money in the music scene, at least in the scene that I was in. If we're talking about like death metal, grindcore, and just extreme music in general, it's literally just greedy ass people, and it's not even greedy for money a lot of times. It's greedy just for fucking clout. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just people who want to fucking be the guy. They want to be the best promoter, or they want to fucking be... I couldn't tell you. It's not about just making good music and being a part of a scene of people who enjoy good music and play good music. It's got to be being seen as the person in the best fucking band or whatever, to the point where you have people paying to play. And I don't just mean selling tickets, because that shit is dead. That shit is busted, and we should definitely not be doing that in the year of our Lord 2021. And I at this point I fault both sides. Okay, I understand if you were like how I was the one time, and I mean one time in life, we sold tickets for a show where you're literally a teenager with no experience with playing music professionally whatsoever, right? I understand. If you're literally out here selling tickets because you think that that's the wave and that's how you up your status as a band, that you just sell tickets and you'll sell more and more tickets, and eventually your opportunity for a record label or a record deal or whatever will come to you, you're fucking stupid. And the promoters that take your money from you so that they can use that money and pay touring acts with that and not have to pay any money out of pocket, but get hailed on the internet as the best promoter, savior of the scene, so on and so forth, they love for you to think that way. And even goofier than that is the shit that I experienced, where a promoter like that, a fucking garbage ass, greaseball ass promoter that does that type of shit, will straight up not even do the formality of being like, you have to sell this many tickets, right? They'll straight up tell you $500 and I'll throw you on the show. And bands will do that. Right? I've seen it done all day, and I'm sure people in Baltimore, if you know me and we've played music together, you know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about too. Ooh, my favorite band is coming through. This fucking douchebag ass promoter is bringing one of my favorite bands through, and there's an opportunity for me to be on the same flyer as this band. Hell yeah, take my money, $500. Make me the smoke break band. Make me the opening act. Make me the band that nobody fucking saw because they didn't get there till 5 minutes before the headliner played. I will give you all of my money for that, just so that I can look on my Facebook memories in a year or two and say, hell yeah, I played that show, and share that and get my little oohs and ahs for a split second, but then realize that nobody actually in the end gives a single flying fuck. What play is this dude? He looks fire. Yo, what's up, Aerial Ghost? There's going to be 10 openers too? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing, and I mean for people like Oler, there's Red, yikes. I wasn't going to name drop, but yeah, Zach Oler. The only thing keeping that model of business for booking shows alive is literally bands who continue to accept that shit. That is it. You can't even blame the promoter at this point. I've known what it was with Zach Oler for like fucking 10 years at this point, right? Everyone in the Baltimore scene has known about this man, Zach Oler, for a fucking heavy brick. So we can't blame him because he's just going to act according to his nature. But if you're a band that's paying money out of pocket to put on those types of shows, you're fucking goofy. Because I could understand if your mindset is I want to put money up to bring cool bands to the area. Do that. You do not need Zach Oler for that. I promise you, if you want to pay a band to come through, you can 1000% do that without getting middlemans by that fucking greaseball. I promise you. He moved to NOLA, yeah, of course, so he could hang out with I Hate God. and fucking. I've told this story on my personal page a bunch, but it was mad funny. The last time I saw, because I used to love I Hate God. Let me throw that out there first, because I Hate God used to be one of my favorite bands. When I was in Disassemble, one of the main influences in the sound of that band was I Hate God, and it should be pretty obvious in Smoke More Weed, Play More Metal. Was that Fuck Your Medication, I think that track was called? You could definitely hear the I Hate God influence in that song in the end. But, I obviously stopped fucking with them, kinda, for obvious reasons. But the last time I saw them, ironically, I was working at Auto Bar. I was working security at fucking garbage ass Auto Bar, and they played. They were gonna play White Nigger, and Mike Williams literally goes, "Okay, this next song is called White," and then looks at me, and we make direct eye contact. And I don't know if he knew that I knew what the song was actually called or not. Like, I don't know if he knew that I was a former fan, or if he just thought I was just a random black security guard. But he was like, "This next song is called White Neighbor," and then they started the song, and it was the funniest shit ever. If you want to make money in music, period, and I mean period, if you want to make money at all, you need to sell merch. That's where 100% of your money is going to come from. Whether you're a touring band or just recording artists or whatever. If you're not making merch, or rather, let me rephrase that. If people are not buying your merch, your shit is a hobby. Your shit is an expensive hobby. Was it actually called that? No, it wasn't actually called White Neighbor. It was actually called White, White N-word, White Nigger. I don't want to get my stream blamed, so I'm trying not to say that word as much on here, but some bands are doing well with Patreon now too. That's not surprising. That's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna hate. I used to hate. I hated on Visceral Disgorge for fucking doing a Kickstarter for one of their albums, but it's more so just because I really don't fucking like Visceral Disgorge. They're kind of fucking corny, but White Gamer Word. Yeah, if you want a band to come through, literally just fucking Facebook message them. It's not that easy a lot of the time for like the really, really big bands, but like if we're talking about death metal or grindcore or anything that's remotely DIY scene adjacent, I promise you could probably just send them an email or like a Facebook message. And, obviously if you want Metallica to fucking play in your neighborhood, probably a little bit more complicated than that. But even if we're talking about people like Suffocation and shit, I can promise you that you do not need to fucking have Zach Oler take your money from you to have them play in your city. Solos, yeah, this is solos I'm in right now. Fuck. I hate losing my health to that shit. Take a Bornheim though. I'll take that instead of a Bornheim. Suffolk. Yeah, I saw that DC Metal, Chris, because No Moss is playing it. Used to be a No Mas fan, but I won't really get into that here. Ooh, this is the shoddy. I hear people up here fighting, and I'm trying to get into a fight. I'm trying to shoot something. Queensway, I haven't cared about Queensway in a long time. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Autobar either. I would be delusional if I thought that people were gonna stop going to Autobar just because of what I said. You know what I mean? So I'm genuinely not pressed on that. It's just that what's funny to me is what I know for 1000% is going to happen. I won't say with which specific people, but what I know is going to happen is people will hit me up on the low. Hang on, I hear someone. Where you at, buddy? Where you at? Autobar made like $160,000 in donations during the pandemic. Yeah, I'm sure. I know they're close, I just don't know where. Ow, fucker. Found you. Fuck! I should have tried to switch. It just has a... So, okay, so here's the thing about Autobar. So here, let me finish my thought on Autobar that I was originally having. What's going to happen is people that behind the scenes will message me on the low to be like, yo, I fuck with you. I agree with everything you're saying. I've had this experience and that experience, and I don't fuck with it, blah, 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 blah. But I have to go there because X, right? Will show me no support in public, but will message me, talk to me about that kind of shit all day on the low. What will end up happening is they will get fucked over in the same exact ways that I have been fucked over, right? And in a lot of cases, they've already been fucked over that way. But that will happen to them in the future in a way that they can't ignore anymore. And then suddenly they will adopt the same narrative that I have, but it'll be about them instead of me. And then that's when people will finally be like, well, fuck Autobar or whatever, potentially. And even that's not the case, because, as I said previously, I would be delusional if I thought that people whose the maximum amount of political engagement that they have in their day-to-day life is fucking sharing NPR fucking articles and shit, those people to have an ounce of wherewithal when it comes to who to support and who not to support in the city, especially in one of the most gentrified fucking areas in the city, I would be delusional if I thought that anyone had any sort of common sense when it comes to that sort of thing. But Autobar sucks for exactly that reason. Like, you can't stage dive and you can't crowd surf, and it's not because they're actually worried about your safety. It's literally because somebody broke their neck and sued, right? And they just don't want to get sued. And that's the recurring theme with Autobar, is they actually do not give a single fuck about you, right? They just want your money, and they want to keep your money. They don't want to have to give your money to someone else. They want to keep all of it. And this is why I was saying what I was saying about the local, like the small DIY venues. And fuck it, I'm gonna name. I want to call some people out here. Whether we're talking about Metro Gallery, whether we're talking about Autobar, we're talking about wherever, right? If there was an actual, when you see people like Tekla and like Adam Savage and shit, when they're on Facebook or social media talking about how they wish that there was a small DIY space or whatever that they could send smaller acts and shit to, they're full of shit. They're absolutely full of shit. Because, as I've said before, these people are literally owners of the largest venues in the city. They have all the money, all the power, all the pull. If they genuinely, and they all know each other, right? They have conversations. They're probably all in some kind of secret Facebook group or something we don't even know about together. And the reason why I know that is because there's security Facebook groups that none of you guys know about, that I've been privy to. But like I was saying, if they genuinely wanted a small space like that to exist, it would exist yesterday. They would pull together their funds. They would have a fundraiser just like they had where they made 160K, whatever it was that DC Metal Chris said, in donations. They would do that, and there would be a space up and running yesterday, right? But the thing you have to understand is that they exist in capitalism and are therefore literally capitalists. Their bars are their capital, right? So if you think that venue owners like that, like Adam Savage, like fucking Tekla, if you think that they aren't absolutely thrilled at the prospect of there being no alternatives except to hit them up to play on the floor in their spot and them charging you $500 for no sound man and no PA just to cut the fucking lights on so that you and your 20 friends can see a grindcore show on a Tuesday night, you are smoking dicks. You are smoking dicks, is all I have to say. Places like Club K and like Sidebar are gone. Places like the Depot are no-go zones for people like me because I don't support fucking pedophiles. Which is also fucking baffling to me, because if we're gonna throw some more shade really quick, I kind of want to talk about fucking a post that Mary Spiro made throwing a fucking temper tantrum about how nobody appreciates the work that she's put in for the scene or whatever. So off top, the music scene in Baltimore, even specifically the metal scene, has existed before you and it will continue to exist after you. You weren't the first promoter, you weren't the last promoter, you weren't the best promoter, you weren't even the worst promoter. You were just kind of fucking there. And if we're gonna get down to the real nitty gritty, a lot of shit got fucked up because of shit that you did. But to sit there and act like people owe you shit because you fucking middlemanned and took it upon yourself to put on shows that nobody fucking asked for is childish to me. Is really fucking childish. And her post was a big attention grab pity post, yeah. And I'll say this too, because while we're doing shady shit, because fuck it, why not? It's my stream, right? It's my channel. because I knew her personally and I've had conversations with her about shit personally. She's just jealous of Hassan. She's literally just jealous of Ripping Headaches Promotions, that he's been putting in more time, more work. And that was the other thing, is there was another post that was like, she fucking works this crazy job and would literally be falling asleep because she's putting on shows and blah blah blah. Dog, there's fucking like people who literally lived in fucking venues. Like the people who ran Scranton did all of the same shit that Mary did, and played in bands and lived in the fucking venue, right? So it's just like that crybaby shit is it's crazy. Where's your flashlight? Yeah. Hassan gets way better bands. Yeah, that's facts. Hassan just puts on better shows, whether it's better venues, better bands, better promotion. Like, he just does a better job. And she told me one time that she was mad because he fucking promotes his he'll put links to like his shows and her event pages for her shows, and it's like, that's what the fuck you're supposed to do. Like, I'm not so fucking petty that if I'm putting on a show on a Tuesday and another similar show, even if that show is happening the same night and you post the fucking link to it in my event page, that's cool. That, to me, that means that the city is popping. Because that was my favorite times in Baltimore, right? The best times, and I'm sure other people feel this way as well, is when you don't know which show to go to. There's a dope show happening at fucking Metro, but there's also a dope show happening at Scramton, and there's a dope show happening at fucking Hell's Poppin', but there's also a dope show at Mercury. Like, there's also a dope show at Wind Up. Like, that's when Baltimore is popping. When Baltimore is popping. Rest in peace to like half of the fucking venues I just mentioned. But to sit there and act like the scene owes its existence to you because you fucking put on a bunch of bands that nobody fucking asked for at venues that nobody wanted to go to anyway, you should probably have a fucking seat. That only happens like once a year. I mean, now, leading up to, so like 2016, 2017, 2018, there was Scramton, there was Hell's a Poppin', there was so many venues, and there were so many shows happening all at once. The golden age was probably like 2013, 2014, 2015, when you had Hassan still booking shows in Baltimore, when Hexagon still existed, when Dis House still existed, Barclay House still existed, Hell's a Poppin' still existed, fucking, I'm pretty sure Scramton had just become a thing, like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? That first shot didn't kill her? It's ridiculous, dude. What's up, Christian? You're up in Canada, but you used to be around the metal scene in your city back in 2012 through 2014. There was a similar incident where a freelance photographer ended up being basically an exclusive photographer for one promoter. One of the bands who played used one of her pictures without properly crediting her. It was an honest mistake. The band added the credit to the post after the fact, but she blew a shit fit and tried to get them blacklisted from 3 different venues. That's fucking corny. That's extraordinarily fucking corny. In my case, specifically personally with Mary Spiro, the very first show that I worked for her, I did not get paid for. I worked Grimfest, and 2 things happened. First of all, this is when I first became aware of the pedophile shit with the depot, because so here's what happened. I'm gonna just run it through from the beginning. I was in a band at the time called Bestial Evil. And so like in terms of playing politics, and that sounds shitty, like I'm just being friends with people to make contacts for music and stuff, but it really wasn't like that. It was literally just, you're cool people, we exist in the scene, we could work together, let's do this, whatever. So I knew Mary. I was actually dating her daughter at the time. She was like, yo, do you want to work door for Grimscape for me? I'm thinking, cool, whatever. I come through, I'm working the door, taking tickets, stamping hands, all that shit. Did not get paid, right? Did not get paid, which, you know, I won't get into that, but I'm sitting there posting, I'm on Facebook scrolling, whatever, doing normal security shit where you're just looking at your phone for like hours on end. Posted a picture of me at Grimscape or whatever, and a friend of mine is like, hey, we don't fuck with that place because it's owned by a pedophile. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I shit you not, like 5 minutes later, that dude comes into the bar, walks behind the bar, takes a fistful of cash out of the register, stuffs it into his pocket, and vacates the premises post-haste, right? And the post caused a whole kerfuffle because it became a feminist issue, right? About how the owner of the bar is actually that dude's wife, and she's tried to divorce him and distance herself from him, and we're actually being misogynists by not supporting the bar and giving her money, which the dude will apparently just come in and take out of the fucking register at will. So it was this whole fucking ridiculous, stupid ass fucking thing. Cladonia Rangifarina played Grimfest, which, if you don't know, because I didn't know at the time, that is actually Paul Wagner from the Wolves of Vinland. That was his band. He wasn't in it at the time, but that was his band. And obviously the band was all wolves. Fucking when the first year at Shadowwoods, if you, I might be petty and pull this up, but if I'm feeling super petty after this match, I'll pull this up. But first year at Shadowwoods, dude, fucking Cladonia Rangifarina played, and Paul Wagner himself, I think Jack Donovan might have even been at Shadowwoods, but that first year. But like, shit is hella tone deaf. I was low key shady. I didn't go all out with the shade on the comment, but I commented on one of her posts like, hey, maybe you should go back to doing reviews, because there was a review she did where she did a review of that band Nocturnal Fear, where she said literally Chris Slavehunter was a joy to watch. You're saying, even if you didn't know about the band, you didn't know who the Angry Aryans were, you for whatever reason didn't know what the Aryan Brotherhood was, you're calling a dude named Chris Slavehunter a joy to watch. Like, and this is where I made the decision, like, okay, even at best, these people are completely fucking clueless. These are people that are so fucking stupid that they put my life in, like, they put my life in jeopardy with their fucking idiocy, right? Just by them and doing white people shit and all with all this black metal shit and being so fucking clueless that you don't know that when the people that you're supporting are Nazis. And then you're going to try to do the liberal diversity thing where you want to bring as many, okay, let's get some black people in here. Let's get some fucking queer people in here. So, yay, we're ticking our boxes, right? You've created a fucking powder keg situation completely effortlessly and without a single fucking clue, right? This is one of the things that this is my primary fucking source of contention with Autobar, was the fact that the very first, and I mean the very first and only Death Fest related shit that I worked, had a band that put shit out on Vanguard Records, and we had to deal with a wolf at the bar that night. So on top of the fact that the fucking bartending manager was friends with Evan Phillips, like close friends, bosom buddies, and tried to fucking gaslight me about being called the N-word in public, be like, oh, maybe he said Nick, maybe he was trying to call his friend Nick or whatever. Like, dog, like, it's clearly not a coincidence that these people are here. They're clearly coming here because they feel comfortable coming here. It would be different if they showed up to try to antagonize because they knew that the space was not welcoming to them, so they tried to start shit. But they literally just show up because they know at any given time that they just fucking walk up to the bar, get a $6 fucking tall boy a bow, and shoot the shit and not be bothered. It's not that she didn't know, she didn't care. Oh, I feel like it's a little of both. You don't care to know, you know what I mean? Like, that it's the Handline's razor, right, where any sufficiently advanced ignorance, the axiom is typically do not assume malice where ignorance would suffice, right? But at the same time, any sufficiently advanced ignorance is indistinguishable from malice, right? Where you are so careless about this situation, you just don't give a fuck about anybody's safety, right? You don't give a fuck about the types of people you have intermixing in your shits. That's just networking? Yeah, networking. Let me give any liberal white people out there a piece of advice. Just do all white shit. If you're concerned that your shit is mostly or all white people, just let it be that. Once you start box ticking, because first of all, we as black people, we as queer people, whatever, we know when you're doing that. You might not even understand yourself that you're doing it, but we know when you're doing it. We might let it cook because we need... And that's the other fucked up thing that is really fucking disgusting, is the fact that a lot of times they know that they're doing it, but they know the people they're doing it to are in such a position that the opportunity that they provide is an opportunity that they need. Me, I'm lucky enough to where I'm set up with this platform, and I have a support system to where I can say, you know what, fuck this, I'm out. I don't need this shit. Not everybody has that, though. Sometimes people gotta do shit that they don't necessarily agree with or support to pay the bills. Whereas me, nah. Even if I didn't have a support system that I do, I would rather be fucking homeless than pay my bills off of somebody that hired me just to tick a box. And by that, I of course mean I would rather rob the fucking bar at gunpoint than have the bar hire me just because they were trying to fill a diversity quota. And I say that allegedly, nah. I back that 1000%. I was just about to say, I say that knowing that all the people who work at that bar know who I am and what I look like. Because that's the other fucking thing that was goofy about the security, was that if some shit actually popped off and some Neos like actually fucking showed up and wanted to start some shit, the confidence level that I had, and not being the only person to actually trade in hands, the confidence level that I had and actually having backup in that shit was fucking below zero. I mean, not a chance. No chance. No fucking chance. The first thing that would happen is people would start calling the cops. That would be it. TOS. Fuck the TOS. It's shady night. I'm dripping and I'm shady. Pooh Shiesty, that's my dog. But Pooh, you know I'm really shiesty. Are you fucking kidding me? 2 shots? What the fuck, man? I don't think that was even a hand cannon I was using, Christian. I was just straight up using just a regular joint. Did I watch the beef set? I did not. Unfortunately, I did not. I still have to. Hold on. I gotta, let me see. Because it's going to be real fucking embarrassing if I go to Shadowwood's Facebook page and go to their first Shadowwoods and look at the fucking group photos, and I can immediately pick out Paul Wagner. The only thing that would be worse than that is if they just straight up had no photos of the first Shadow Woods because they didn't want that shit. Like, Shiesty G post RIP and reason he in the dirt. Ripton, yeah. It wasn't. It was a Winfield Terminus. Oh yeah, they have these pictures buried. Which is like, oh. Okay, never mind. It's just other white people with long hair covered in ashes. Oh man. I'll hurry up and get into another game. They did a super good job of scrubbing the photos that had the Wolves of Vinland in them. I'll say that much. Like, a super, super good job. Yeah, that's funny. Also, while I'm being petty and doing shady shit, saying shady shit, I don't think that bands playing Metal Mondays is a regular thing. And even if it was, playing upstairs at Autobar is, I would rather fucking play in a fucking public restroom. That the sound upstairs is fucking garbage. Damn. Let me see if this... Oh, it still exists. Kudos for that. It's kind of shady you wouldn't address this, but... At least you didn't just like try to blame it and make it not exist on the internet. Okay, here we go. Alright, so here's, just so everybody knows, I'm not full of shit. Hang on. Here's Mary Spiro's blog, Metella Musicum. Saturday, December 15th, 2012. I went to a black metal festival hosted by Maryland Infernal Horde at El Oasis in Baltimore, Maryland. Metal shows are not that hard to find in the Mid-Atlantic from month to month, but ones devoted to metal's most extreme and controversial subgenre are a rarity. So right there, she understands that with the word controversial right there, she knows that there's some shady shit happening. If you follow Metalla Musicum at all, you know I am all about black metal, so I could not miss Satan's Unholy Abomination Fest. And before I get too much further into that, Satan's Unholy Abomination Fest is run by that dude Handerator, the fucking, what is it, Templo de Lucifero bullshit. I talked about that on stream before. The dude hates black people. The Infernal Horde books NSBM all the time. Yeah, not only that, that dude Handerator, he fucking talks shit about black people in Spanish all the time, but just thinks that nobody can hit see translation and understand that he's talking shit about black people. He just thinks that because it's in Spanish, nobody cares or can read it. But I'm just gonna hit find and go to Slave Hunter. So here we go. A friend from Pennsylvania who could not make the show said he was sad to be missing Nocturnal Fear, which is sus as fuck. That is sus. I'm sorry. You have a friend that said he wants to see Nocturnal Fear. If you know someone that knows who Nocturnal Fear are, they know that that dude is from the Aryan Brotherhood. I'm sorry. There's no way you can listen to that band and not know who that person is. She said, a friend from Pennsylvania who could not make the show said he was sad to be missing Nocturnal Fear. Now I understand why. Most of the other bands had stirred up a bit of a mosh pit, but when Michigan's Nocturnal Fear started playing, many people simply stood to witness guitarist Reverend Chris Slave Hunter, who was a joy to watch. Chris Slave Hunter is a PhD. Oh, okay. Alright. I highly fucking doubt that because he's literally a fucking prison fucking branded Aryan Brotherhood member, but Nocturnal Fear play blackened technical death metal. Each note, each beat is expertly executed. These songs were less riff driven and more solo driven, but it was a nice change. I also dug watching their drummer finally get to use his fantastic drum kit. Side note here, the drum kit was equipped with triggers. When you stood in front of the bands, you could hear them clearly. The side of the stage, you could not. I kept moving around during each set to get a good sense of how things sounded. So, yeah. That's fucking wild. And here we got pictures. There's Sean playing with Extermination Angel, just kind of casually playing on a festival with the Aryan Brotherhood member. And there's Nocturnal Fear. How you could look at these motherfuckers and not instantly know that they look at this fucking guy, dude. How could you not look at this guy? I promise you he has a swastika tattoo or something somewhere. I promise you. There is a zero chance that he doesn't have a fucking black sun or some kind of tattoo on his body somewhere. Yeah, Dr. Slave Hunter, yeah. Mary Spiro, Metalla Musicum, yeah. Woo, yeah. I wonder why nobody went to her shows. And it gets back to what I was saying earlier. If you are afraid that your shit is mostly white people or just white people, just let it be that, yo. Don't try to fucking tick boxes. Don't try to virtue signal, because you're just going to piss everyone off and be left with nothing at the end of the day. Because if she would have never tried to do the shit that she did with the whole fucking, I don't know. I can't say because I don't follow too closely. But I feel like she tried to do some half-ass liberal shit, and she was trying to appeal to people who already didn't fuck with her, right? Trying to appeal to black people and queers and whatever. Was already trying to appeal to people who did not fuck with her and knew not to fuck with her. And the only thing she did was alienate the audience she already had, which was like low-key Nazis and shit. The types of people that would fuck with black metal. Like, you have to understand, just like I learned very early being a black person in the metal scene, you have to understand what your audience is. You know what I mean? Like, for me to be playing fucking like porno grind and be mad that I'm the only black person in the room would be silly on my part, right? Would be extremely silly on my part. Just like if you're fucking a black metal fan and you're like surprised when you're suddenly consistently surrounded by Nazis, like, That's pretty fucking silly. Pretty silly. Oh my god. My black metal scene is full of neo-Nazis? Surprise. Yeah, surprise Pikachu. You're booking people with the name Slave Hunter, and you're like, wait, there's Nazis here? Surprise Pikachu. Surprise Pikachu. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that the guy covered with head to toe in tattoos with the fucking skinhead and the fucking death's head tattoo, the giant death's head tattoo on his neck, that dude is a Nazi? Surprise Pikachu. Like, what the fuck you doing, dude? Hey, but credit where credit is due. At least she's not fucking straight up robbing the people who play for her like Zach Oler. That's why I have to say she wasn't the best, and she wasn't even the worst. She's just kind of there. God, I wish I could find the group photo of everyone at Shadow Woods in 2015 with like Paul Wagner and shit in the picture. You know a genre is fucked when you have to research if a band you like are Nazis? Yeah, it's probably the time to be like, you know what? You have to do one of two things at that point. You have to be like, I'm going to stop listening to this music, or you have to be like, I don't care. I just don't care. And I'm just not going to advertise that I listen to like Satanic War Master and shit like that in public anymore. Because she's still going to book shows, I bet. She just wants people to beg her to keep doing it. Oh, yeah. I mean, this much is obvious. Not even just from that, but like if you're genuinely doing it for the love, like if you're genuinely doing it just because you want to continue to see cool bands, then that's why you're going to do it. Like, that's what also made that shit so sus, is like, you're saying that you put these shows on just because you want to see these bands play, and yet your main gripe is that nobody appreciates you for bringing these bands that only you wanted to see through. Like, I don't know. They're anti-fashion, anti-racist black metal mound. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, black gaze is cool because it's all hipsters and queers. I actually am in the process of trying to get like a commie anti-racist black metal band, anti-fash, anti-racist commie black metal band going with I won't say too much because I don't know if they would want their name thrown out there to be associated with it, but some very cool black metal heads into gaze, into all that stuff. We want to do like faster, like Dark Throne but faster type deal, like almost kind of like Urgahol, or like almost like Archgoat, or like fucking maybe like Entias, or like newer Marduk vibes for black metal, but like anti-fash, anti-racist, commie as fuck. Yeah, they did a really good job of making sure those photos with Paul Wagner aren't on the internet anywhere, but That fucking, yeah. That Chris Slave Hunter shit's still pretty fucking crazy. Damn, hold up, stop. I gotta show you all this because this is funny. When I Google Shadow Woods Metal Festival 2015 Paul Wagner, the first result is Death Metal Underground's page dedicated to me. They had a crush on me for a minute. Oh yeah, this shit was nuts too. The Cathedral of the Black Goat, where it's just like straight up NSBM and people caping for it naturally, because people will cape for that kind of shit, which is wild to me. But anyway, back to the hunt. You crush on that pic too? Yeah. I mean, I was looking pretty woodland fairy-ish in that. It's pretty cute. I wish my nail polish wasn't fucked up in that picture, but cape, cap, cope. The 3 C's of goofiedom. The 3 C's of goofetry. Prozac's scat / fic on you remains a very psychologically telling document. Yeah. First of all, the fact that it was so unoriginal, because the first half of it, or at least part of it, was literally just verbatim copy of Pig Destroyer's like the ending little like robot voice monologue from Prowler in the Yard. But then on top of that, it's just like, dog, if you want to fuck, you could totally pay me. Allegedly. The dopest part about me talking all this shit too is I can pretty much guarantee none of the people I'm talking about are ever going to see this shit. But it's not cowardly because I'm still doing it in a place where they could see it if they wanted to. That makes such a gross noise. Roided up. Cape, cap, cope. The 3 elements of the goofatar. I definitely heard feet. Damn, it's midnight already. I saw your new hair. It's cute. It looks very good. Shit. Thank you for the like. Thanks for the follow, Nike3. Nike93. Oh my god. We killed each other. Gosh. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so hang on. Here's something else. Wait a minute. Okay, so y'all ready for this? Because I don't think you're ready for this. Here, let's check this out. Alright, here we go. Our hearts are heavy and broken today. This is from Shadowwoods Metal Fest, like official page, right? Our hearts are heavy and broken today. Please raise a toast to our beloved friend Nate Dickinson who left this world today. We remember when you were so excited about Shadowwoods that you offered to build the stages with your bare hands if you had to, just so you could play. Your set with Cladonia Rangiff Arena was epic. Rest in peace, sweet son. We know your spirit will be haunting the chapel at Shadowwoods Metal Festival 2016. But it's also really fucking gross. Like, someone died and you're just like, yeah, rest in peace. You would have loved Shadowwoods 2016. Like, what the fuck, dude? But anyway, check this out. Oh, man. That's fun. That's really fun. Gotta love that. That's fun. Rest in piss to this guy. We won't say what happened to this guy here on the right, but it wasn't good. He had a run-in with me, and it did not end very well for him. Oh, man. Yeah, he had a Confederate flag on stage. Yeah. When's the Endless Cemetery merch? The Endless Cemetery merch dropping? Gosh, I don't know. I haven't. I still don't think I'm big enough for merch yet. Honestly, maybe it's just me being modest, but like, I don't think my platform is big enough to warrant printing merch yet. Like, I don't think enough people would be interested in that yet. Excuse me. Thank you for the like, Key. When you're so racist, your backdrop is just a Confederate flag. Yeah, I heard that dude got slapped in the mouth too. It's a shame. That's a real shame. Probably hurt. Probably hurt a lot. He's probably real fucked up from it. Thanks for the share, Key. I appreciate you, bruh. Yo, what's good, bruh? And it's wild that, like, I don't know. It's wild to me that people still continue to play festivals like this. Like, it's wild to me that a lot of this shit is still genuinely unknown about this person. Considering how blatant it is, you know? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, imagine having imagine having this band play, right? Imagine having this band play on the same festival as literally the head of the Wolves of Vinland, his band. Like, just clueless shit. Just completely fucking clueless. Sounds like a dope festival, yeah. Yeah, Roxy, I appreciate you. The Warhammer 40k Mark McFarlane figurines, that's fucking sick. Yeah, I guess that's true, Key. If the merch is fire, people will probably buy. And I'm literally just talking about like Nazis and shit in the scene. Oh no, Key. I was saying it's not because the music is bad. It's because the people that I was talking about are literally neo-Nazis. Like, you're having neo-Nazis play on the same festival as like black queer people and stuff. I was so still. Don't do that. Those better not be dogs. Fuck me. And I can't fucking see him. God damn it. I was really hoping there'd be a hole in this fence or something where I could get in right there, but I guess not. Just come this way. I'd rather have this. Let's just keep what I got. Oh, it's in there. I'm stupid. Like I was staring into your soul. That's funny. That's not good. Not the bees. Don't want the bees. In fact, I so don't want the bees. Fucking get rid of that shit before it even becomes a factor. Not the bees! My eyes! Yo, Wicker Man is so slept on. Nick Cage went off. He didn't have to do that, but he did that for us. Oh my god, these fucking ducks. I'm gonna have to shoot her goofy ass. Why the fuck would they put special ammo in the map when none of the guns use special ammo? Okay then, well then. Looks like I was late as shit this game. We didn't need Drive Angry, but he gave it to us. That's facts. Yo, it's real shit though. Like actual, like no bullshit. Color Out of Space was fire. Oh my god, the bees! Color Out of Space was a man discovering fire. Oh my god, and the fucking dogs. What a fucked situation. I know they saw me too. Can they get up here? Yes, they can. Fuck. Come here, puppy. Here, Poochie. Yep. Bye-bye. That dog better not chase me all the way out here. I'm gonna be heated. I don't hear any clop clops, so I guess I should be good. Willy's Wonderland was ass? Yeah, I didn't see Willy's Wonderland. But yeah, fuck H.P. Lovecraft. We all know what he named his cat. Oh my god. Here, puppy. Here, Poochie. We all know what H.P. Lovecraft named his cat. Let's not be coy. Excuse me, COVID. he openly endorsed Hitler's actions. Was he alive when all that shit was happening? I know he didn't like black people. Like, a lot of his stories literally revolved around the lead protagonist finding out that they're low-key black. Or, like, the case of Charles Dexter Ward was legit the protagonist finding out he's, like, part ape or some crazy shit like that. Some, like, clearly extremely fucking racist shit like that. Fuck. Son of a bitch. Wow. That was smart. They put that fucking alert trip mine next to the explosive barrel and I ran right into it. Oh, look who it is. Hold on, you guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna fucking love this. Hold up, ready? Oh my goodness. Who's this? Who's this? Oh my god. I fucking hate metal so much. You don't understand how much I fucking hate this goofy ass scene. I don't know if it wasn't like this when I was a kid or if I just wasn't paying attention to it being like this at the time, but I want to say it was not this fucking ridiculous the entire time that I was playing music. But it's weird because when I do shit like this, then I get called into question. Like I'm shady. I must necessarily only be calling this type of shit out because I'm a shady person and I'm trying to deflect from my own shadiness, as if anything I could have done in my personal life would remotely compare to just straight up bringing neo-Nazis around with you. Damn near wherever you go. Like, peep this. Like, like, imagine, hold on. Like, imagine you're like, okay, I have neo-Nazis in my festival, so I gotta get peeps, like, I gotta throw people off, so I'm gonna have this person's band play. I gotta have the Hex the Patriarchy people play, so that it's cool that I have neo-Nazis in my festival. The good old Death Fest method. The good old Maryland Death Fest method. Fuck, Destroyer 666 is headlining. Let's have Suffocation headline, so that people won't question our shit. Yeah, we got some neo-Nazis headline our fucking festival, but you know, some black people also played. Sometimes we have crust punk plans fucking play at like 7 in the afternoon. Damn, they did a really fucking good job of making sure the pictures with fucking damn, dude. That's such a wild, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is wild. Fuck them birds. Fuck that horse too. Fuck these birds, matter of fact. It's like I don't have anything to engage with. I should probably try out on these birds. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm having the worst luck tonight. Alright, I'm probably going to run like 1 or 2 more and call it a night. I'll see you guys Friday with the Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that zombie did get me fucked up. I had to push before I was ready to. Friday night finish him. Community call. Friday night fights. Yeah, I can have that one for free. Thank you. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you. Hopefully I can at least get a kill, because I haven't even gotten a kill tonight. I've been too distracted. I gotta play you on Friday, but I'm still figuring out what the fuck I'm gonna play after Mortal Kombat 11. I think I'm gonna start playing Guilty Gear Strive. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I saw Virtua Fighter 5 dropped. I don't know. I want to play Virtua Fighter 5, but it's extremely complicated. I didn't even see this. I'm gonna read this really quick while we're waiting. A judge denies release for Jake Angeli, Phoenix man who raided Capitol wearing horned hat. A federal judge denied request Monday to release from custody Jake Angeli, the Phoenix man whose elaborate tattoos, face paint, and horned fur hat made him one of the signature figures of the January 6th raid on the U.S. Capitol. Judge Royce Lamberth said in his ruling that he had heard no new information in a hearing last week that would compel him to revisit his March order that Angeli be held while awaiting trial on 6 federal charges relating to the incursion on the Capitol. Yikes. What a goofball. New Blaze Blue. I didn't get, I enjoyed Blaze Blue, but I didn't get super into it. I wish that the new Guilty Gear, I wish Stray was more like Exard Sign, because I was pretty decent at Exard Sign, I feel like. But I'm having a hard time learning the fundamentals in Strive. New Gundam Battle Assault. Hey, what up, Fade Runner? Gundam Battle Assault is we played, I don't even remember what that shit is called that we played that was free on PSN. We played it for a minute. It was the 5v5 one. It was pretty cool. Battle Operation, yeah, that one. Okay, I see you, friend. I see you. Hurry up and deal with this fucking emergency. Tried. Good try. Who the heck is Clickford Bateson? You missed so much heat. I wish you were here for the last like hour of the stream. You saw the Shadowwoods heat? Yeah. I wish I had something other than a shotgun, especially since those dogs literally just randomly fucking spawned in, but it's cool. Oh, I see this guy up here too. How unfortunate. I'll definitely take that. Oh, Frozen, you're loading into this game. Okay, so you saw all the heat then. I didn't even really lose any health. That's crazy. I fucked them up. Oh, Will is getting this game too, by the way, Fade. So I'm gonna get this shit for PS4 this weekend and Amazon a new controller. thought he was aggroed by someone else. I guess it was just me. I fucking hate having to push through water. This sucks. I'm gonna get dealt with. At least there's no water devils. Oh my god. He was on my ass. I'm definitely close enough for him to hear that, so... He's just camped up in this barn. Shit. That ain't good. Whew. Stop it. Are they even still here on this, like in this compound? They're downstairs. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen, but it's all good. That's gonna be it for me tonight, though. That was a good fight. I got a couple kills, at least. That one headshot through the fence was pretty gnar. I murdered, bodied that dude. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to come through Friday night for the community coth. I'll be doing a community King of the Hill on Mortal Kombat. That's going to happen at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time. I'll be playing as Jax, although I might switch if people want me to not play my main character and play as good as I can possibly play. Of course, there's going to be news. We'll figure out what crazy shit happens between now and Friday for me to read and us to talk about. But, yeah. Yeah, you have a good night too. Shout out to Cherie, shout out to Key Brown, shout out to Roxy, shout out to Puma, shout out to Neki. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate you. Shout out to Fade Runner, of course, shout out to DC Metal Chris. Always a pleasure to entertain y'all. And, I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I just wanted to chill for a minute. Oh, man. What a long night. What a long day. Followed by a long night. But it's cool. Because I'm about to go to sleep. And do it all over again tomorrow. Good night, you all. See you guys Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square. And yeah, catch you guys on the flip. Actually, wait a minute. How many people on Twitch do I have right now? Should I raid someone? I'm gonna raid someone. Who is on Twitch right now? I'll have to log into Twitch naturally. MF Slayer's on. I might raid Slayer as usual. Cyborg Ninja's also on and still playing Hunt. I'm just gonna go ahead and raid them all. Perfect Legend is on. I'm just gonna raid MF Slayer. Thank you for the like. What's up, Muhammad? You actually caught me right at the tail end of my stream, friend. I appreciate you liking me. Make sure, go ahead and give me a follow. Alright, so I'm raiding MF Slayer.